What if I told you that one of the Real Housewives of Potomac's most explosive feuds has finally come full circle? After years of shade, accusations, and unforgettable reunion drama, Gizelle Bryant and Monique Samuels have done the unthinkable. They've made peace. Yes, peace. But here's the twist. This reconciliation didn't happen overnight. From cheating rumors and binders full of receipts to public divorces and emotional growth, this story goes far deeper than what Bravo cameras ever captured. So, what really changed between Gizelle and Monique? And what secret moment made Gizelle finally put the past behind her? Stay tuned, because this reunion isn't just surprising, it's redemption. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most talked about reconciliations in Real Housewives history, Gizelle Bryant and Monique Samuels finally finding peace after years of tension, betrayal, and public fallout. If you've been following the Real Housewives of Potomac since the early seasons, you already know this feud wasn't your typical reality TV disagreement. It was personal, it was painful, and it left fans divided for years. The drama between Gizelle and Monique wasn't about a single argument. It was about trust, loyalty, and a rumor that tore the entire cast apart. To refresh your memory, back in season 5, rumors started swirling that Monique's youngest son wasn't fathered by her husband, Chris Samuels. It was a cruel accusation, one that hit at the very heart of her family. According to Monique, Gizelle Bryant and Candiace Dillard Bassett were responsible for spreading that rumor to the rest of the cast. The fallout was instant. Lines were drawn, friendships were tested, and Monique vowed never to return to the show. And she didn't, at least not for a while. After that unforgettable reunion, yes, the one where Monique brought the binder herd around the world, she walked away from RHOP, claiming she was done for good. Fans thought that was the end of her Bravo chapter. But here's where it gets interesting. Fast forward 5 seasons later, Monique is back. And not only that, but Gizelle Bryant, the woman she once accused of tearing down her family, is welcoming her back with open arms. So, how do we get from binder battles to forgiveness? What changed in both women's lives to make peace even possible? That's what we're breaking down in this video. Every twist, every rumor, and every emotional shift that led Gizelle and Monique from enemies to maybe, just maybe, allies. Because if you think this reunion was all smiles and champagne toasts, think again. The truth about how these two finally reconnected might surprise even the biggest RHOP fans. And it all started with one unexpected person. Before we can understand how Gizelle Bryant and Monique Samuels found peace, we have to go back to where it all fell apart. The rumor that changed the Real Housewives of Potomac forever. It all began during season 5, when whispers started circulating that Monique's youngest son, Chase, wasn't fathered by her husband, Chris Samuels. The rumor claimed Monique had been having an affair with her personal trainer, a story so damaging, it didn't just target her reputation, it attacked her family. Let's be real, this wasn't just harmless gossip floating around the Bravo world. This was a deeply personal accusation, one that hit Monique at her core. She later revealed that the hardest part wasn't just the rumor itself, but who she believed was behind it. Monique claimed that Gizelle Bryant and Charisse Jackson were the ones spreading the story to the group, something Gizelle has always denied. But for Monique, the damage was already done. In her eyes, Gizelle wasn't just stirring the pot for ratings, she was intentionally trying to destroy her marriage. Monique Samuels' relationship with Chris Samuels was suddenly under a microscope, and the tension within the cast reached a breaking point. Things became so strained that Monique began pulling away from the group altogether. Every lunch, every event, every reunion taping seemed to turn into a battleground. While Gizelle Bryant brushed off the allegations, insisting she never started the rumor, fans noticed how easily she discussed it, and how that alone gave it life. Then came the infamous reunion, a moment that would go down in Housewives history. Monique didn't show up to play games. She came prepared, with a binder full of receipts, color-coded, organized, and packed with details. That binder became her way of proving she wasn't the villain people painted her to be. When Monique flipped through its pages and began exposing secrets, social media exploded. She called out castmates one by one, and the tension between her and Gizelle hit an all-time high. The look on Gizelle's face said it all. She was caught off guard, embarrassed, and furious. The reunion was so intense that it became one of the most replayed moments in Bravo history. After that night, Monique decided she was done. In interviews, she made it clear she felt betrayed by Bravo, the producers, and most of all, by Gizelle. She said she had no desire ever to hold a champagne flute again. And for years, she meant it, but time is a funny way of changing things. When season 10 rolled around, Monique shocked everyone by returning to the Real Housewives of Potomac. The bigger surprise, however, was Gizelle Bryant's reaction. Instead of hostility or avoidance, Gizelle opened the door, literally and emotionally, for a conversation. What made Gizelle, one of Bravo's most unapologetic shade throwers, suddenly willing to let the past go? The answer might surprise you, and it involves someone neither of them expected to play peacemaker. If you've followed the Real Housewives of Potomac long enough, you know one thing for sure. Ashley Darby always finds herself somewhere in the middle of the drama. But this time, she wasn't stirring the pot. She was cooling it down, according to Gizelle Bryant. Her reunion with Monique Samuels didn't happen out of nowhere. It happened because Ashley opened the door. In a recent interview with Entertainment Tonight, Gizelle shared that Ashley had quietly kept in touch with Monique over the years. Even after Monique left RHOP, Ashley maintained communication, something few of the other ladies did. Ashley reportedly told Gizelle that Monique had changed. She'd been through a lot emotionally, personally, and even geographically. She divorced Chris Samuels, moved away from Potomac, and started a new chapter in her life. Gizelle admitted that Ashley warmed her up to the idea of reconnecting with Monique, and honestly, that made sense. Ashley has always been that friend who can talk to anyone. She can sip tea with the enemy and somehow walk away unscathed. So when season 10 filming began and Monique appeared again, it wasn't as shocking to Ashley as it was to everyone else. But for fans, and especially for Gizelle, it was a moment no one expected. After all, Monique's exit from the show wasn't just dramatic, it was final. She had made it clear she didn't want to return to a space where her marriage and motherhood were disrespected. But years later, the energy was different. Both women had grown, faced life-changing moments, and learned that sometimes peace is more powerful than pride. During her interview, Gizelle reflected, "Monique's been gone for 5 seasons. She's been through a lot. She's divorced now. She's moved, and she doesn't live in Potomac anymore." Gizelle even joked about Monique's lifestyle, saying, "I don't know how many homes she has now, but it's not 4, followed by laughter. A clear sign that some of the old tension had finally turned into lighthearted humor. Fans picked up on it instantly. This wasn't the icy Gizelle they saw at the reunion years ago. This was a more grounded, mature version, one who understood that sometimes time really does heal old wounds. And Ashley, in her typical peacemaker fashion, was the bridge that made it happen. Of course, some viewers couldn't help but wonder whether the peace would last. Because, let's be honest, The Real Housewives has a way of turning calm moments into chaos by episode 3. But for now, it felt genuine, and it gave both women a chance to rewrite their story. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Gizelle didn't just say she was cordial with Monique. She admitted she was actually happy to see her again. And what she revealed next gave fans a rare glimpse into Gizelle's softer, more vulnerable side, one that hasn't been seen in years. When it comes to the Real Housewives of Potomac, Gizelle Bryant has built a reputation as one of Bravo's most unbothered, quick-witted, and unapologetic women on screen. She's known for her shade, her confidence, and her ability to stir up a storyline without ever breaking a sweat. But in this moment, Gizelle let her guard down, and fans saw something different. In her interview with Entertainment Tonight, Gizelle said something that caught everyone off guard. "I was actually happy to just connect with her and see where her head is." That might sound simple, but for anyone who has followed RHOP, that statement was monumental. After years of unresolved tension and public resentment, hearing Gizelle express genuine happiness about reconnecting with Monique was both shocking and telling. What changed? Time and life. 2 forces even reality TV can't control. Both women went through major transformations since that explosive reunion. Monique's marriage to Chris Samuels ended. She moved away from Potomac and began focusing on herself, her children, and her peace. Meanwhile, Gizelle faced her own challenges, raising her daughters, enduring public scrutiny over her dating life, and slowly evolving beyond her green-eyed bandit image. What makes this reconciliation so powerful is that it wasn't orchestrated by producers or born from a need for ratings. It came from growth, maturity, and a shared understanding that sometimes the past doesn't have to define the future. When the cameras rolled and Monique and Gizelle stood face to face once again, it wasn't just another housewives scene. It was closure years in the making. Fans could sense it. The smiles were real, the energy was softer, and the tension that once defined them seemed to finally fade away. Maybe this peace will last. Maybe it won't. But for now, it's a reminder that even in a world built on shade and drama, forgiveness can still steal the spotlight. Gizelle's words hinted at something deeper than a simple reunion. They reflected growth. She didn't need to rehash old fights or prove a point. Instead, she saw Monique as someone who, like her, had been through life's ups and downs and come out stronger. It's as if all the noise, the rumors, the headlines, the fan wars, finally faded, leaving just two women who understood what it meant to be misunderstood in front of millions. Fans who had followed Gizelle for years noticed the shift immediately. The tone in her interview wasn't offensive or performative. It was mature, calm, and even compassionate. For once, she wasn't trying to throw shade or keep score. She was acknowledging another woman's growth while recognizing her own. And that's a big deal because, let's be honest, Gizelle rarely lets anyone see her emotional side. She's always been the one people accuse of starting the fire, but this time, she was the one putting it out. Still, this new emotional maturity doesn't mean fans aren't skeptical. Some believe Gizelle's peace offering might not last long, especially with Bravo cameras rolling. After all, this is the Real Housewives of Potomac, where alliances shift faster than you can say, "Drag me, Monique." But others think this could mark a new chapter in the franchise, one where old wounds finally start to heal. Because while Gizelle may be ready to move on, not everyone in Potomac feels the same way. Some of the other housewives reportedly aren't thrilled about Monique's return. Behind the scenes, tensions are already brewing. Could old scars reopen before the peace even settles? While Gizelle Bryant might have shocked fans by extending an olive branch to Monique Samuels, not everyone in the RHOP circle is lighting candles for reconciliation. Behind the smiles, polite greetings, and camera-ready peace talks, there's still plenty of tension simmering beneath the surface. When word spread that Monique would be returning for season 10, the reactions among the cast were mixed, to say the least. Some ladies were curious, others cautious, and a few downright irritated. After all, Monique didn't just walk away. She walked out on a note that left deep cracks in the group's foundation. Sources close to production say certain cast members were skeptical about Monique's motives. Was she really coming back for closure, or was she trying to reclaim her spot and settle old scores under the guise of peace? Charisse Jackson Jordan, for one, has never fully mended things with Monique. Their feud was one of the sparks that ignited the rumor about Monique's alleged affair, and that tension has never truly gone away. So while Gizelle may have found peace, fans are wondering what will happen when Charisse and Monique finally cross paths again on camera. Then there's Robyn Dixon, Gizelle's closest ally. Robyn's loyalty has always been to her green-eyed bandit sister. So, if Gizelle is open to making peace, Robyn might follow suit or not. She's been quieter this time around, possibly playing the observer. But one thing's for sure, she's not one to forget how explosive things got between the group back in season 5. Even Ashley Darby, who helped reconnect the two, knows she's walking a tightrope. She's the one who encouraged Gizelle to give Monique a chance, but if old wounds start reopening, Ashley could find herself caught right in the middle of another RHOP crossfire, and that's never a safe place to be. And, of course, we can't forget Candiace Dillard Bassett. Though her drama with Monique was a completely separate war, their physical altercation back in season 5 left lasting scars, emotionally and professionally. It's one thing for Gizelle to forgive. It's another for Candiace to forget. She made it clear after that season that she wanted nothing to do with Monique ever again. So, the big question now is, how will she react when the cameras start rolling and Monique walks back into the room? What makes all this even juicier is the fact that the Real Housewives of Potomac thrives on divided alliances. The producers know that peace only lasts so long before someone says the wrong thing, posts a shady comment online, or revisits old receipts. So while Gizelle may be in a place of maturity and calm, there's no guarantee the rest of the cast will follow her lead. Still, it's fascinating to watch. Two women who once represented opposite sides of Rob's biggest divide are now on speaking terms. And whether the others like it or not, that changes everything. Because when Gizelle Bryant stops fighting with you, the real question becomes, who's next? Even with all the whispers and cautious smiles, there's one undeniable truth. Both Gizelle and Monique have changed. Divorce, distance, and time have a way of softening even the hardest hearts. And what's coming next for both women might be their most unexpected transformation yet. After years of tension, shade, and unforgettable reality TV history, Gizelle Bryant and Monique Samuels have finally done something fans never expected. They chose peace over pettiness. And in the world of the Real Housewives of Potomac, that's a major plot twist all on its own. When we look back at their journey, it's not just about a rumor, a fight, or even that infamous binder. It's about two women who went through public humiliation, heartbreak, and reinvention, all while millions watched. Both Gizelle and Monique were forced to rebuild themselves in different ways. Gizelle, after facing criticism for her role in spreading drama, learned the value of maturity and grace. Monique, after leaving the franchise and going through a public divorce, learned the importance of peace, healing, and protecting her energy. Now, their reunion feels less like a publicity stunt and more like a reflection of growth. Gizelle didn't need to shade her way back into relevance. She's been holding down RHOP since day one. And Monique didn't return looking for revenge. She came back with a new sense of purpose and calm. Their conversation wasn't filled with accusations or apologies. It was filled with understanding. And that's something fans didn't see coming. In the end, this moment between Gizelle and Monique isn't just about them. It's about what happens when women evolve, when they realize that forgiveness isn't weakness, it's power. When they understand that not every chapter has to end in destruction, some can end in peace. But let's be clear, this is still RHOP. And where there's forgiveness today, there could easily be a confessional shade tomorrow. Still, for now, viewers are witnessing something rare: growth, respect, and maybe even friendship between two women who once couldn't stand to be in the same room. As for what's next, Monique's return is bound to shift the energy of the entire cast. New alliances will form, old wounds may reopen, and fans are already bracing themselves for the ripple effects of her comeback. Gizelle, on the other hand, seems ready to step into her next era. Less chaos, more clarity, but just enough attitude to keep things spicy. Whether you're Team Gizelle, Team Monique, or just here for the drama, one thing's certain: Season 10 is shaping up to be one of the most unpredictable yet. And this unexpected truce might just be the calm before the next Potomac storm. If you loved this deep dive into Gizelle and Monique's shocking reconciliation, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update on the latest Real Housewives drama. And let me know in the comments, do you think this piece will last?